Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you practice, there's always that one player who lasers you down before you can even react? Is it their skill or their device? And now that BGMI and PUBG Mobile have unlocked 120 FPS, does that mean the game is only for players with high-end phones? Well, let's settle this once and for all. Stick around because today, we're breaking down how much your device matters, the real impact of 120 FPS, and why your skills might still be the ultimate weapon. Let's dive in! Section 1. Does device matter? Let's address the big question, does your device actually matter? Well, yes and no. Here's the breakdown. 1. Hardware. High-end devices offer better processors, GPUs, and RAM, which directly affect your gameplay. 2. FPS frames per second. A smoother FPS, like 60 or 120 FPS, improves reaction time and aim precision. Lower FPS creates stutters, and in a fast-paced game like BGMI, milliseconds matter. 3. Touch sampling rate. Flagship devices have faster touch response, meaning your actions register instantly critical for close-range fights. Think of budget phones as a bicycle, while high-end phones are sports cars. Sure, both get you to the finish line, but one does it a lot faster and with style. But here's the twist. Even with the best hardware, there are other factors like screen size and performance that create differences. Let's dig into that. Section 2. Mobile versus iPad versus emulator. Now, let's compare the most common platforms mobile devices, iPads, and emulators. Which one gives you the edge? Mobile devices. Most players prefer mobile because it's portable and mandatory in competitive play. But smaller screens mean less field of view FOV, making spotting enemies tougher. iPads, tablets, larger screens, and wider FOV give you an advantage in spotting enemies and controlling recoil. However, iPads are bulkier and tournaments often restrict their use. Fun fact, many casual players dominate leaderboards using iPads. Emulators? On emulators, you get PC-level precision with a mouse and keyboard. However, they're banned in most competitive formats, and emulator users are matched with other emulator players, leveling the playing field. So, what's your choice, compact mobility or dominating visibility? Let me know in the comments below. But all this hardware talk takes a back seat now that 120 FPS is unlocked. Let's talk about how it changes the game. Section 3 to 120 FPS, a game changer. With 120 FPS now unlocked in BGMI and PUBG Mobile, players with compatible devices have a clear advantage. Here's why it's a game changer. 1. Smoother gameplay. The jump from 60 to 120 FPS makes movement and aiming incredibly fluid. Spotting enemies mid-motion becomes significantly easier to lower input lag. Faster frame rates mean faster reaction times, especially in intense close-range fights. 3. Sharper visuals. The higher FPS enhances clarity, especially for long-range fights. If you're still playing at 30 FPS, don't worry, you're just playing PUBG in slow motion. But before you rush to buy a new phone, let's address an important question: does skill still matter more than FPS? Section 4. Skill versus device. Here's the truth. While 120 FPS and high-end devices help, skill always wins. A pro player with game sense and aim will dominate, even on a mid-tier phone. 1. Game sense. Knowing rotations, positioning, and enemy tendencies will always matter more than FPS. 2. Practice. Consistent drills in training mode improve aim and reflexes regardless of device. 3. Settings optimization. Even budget devices can perform well if you tweak sensitivity, graphics, and layout to suit your playstyle. But what if I told you that even with skill, there are still hidden factors holding you back? Let's wrap it up with some final tips. Conclusion and final tips. So, does your device matter in BGMI and PUBG Mobile? The answer is yes, but only to a point. Here's how you can maximize your performance. 1. Use what you have. If you're on a budget phone, lower your graphics and focus on practicing. 2. Optimize settings. Even with 120 FPS, tweaking sensitivity and controls is critical. 3. Stay cool. Avoid overheating, especially when running high graphics or frame rates. 4. Play smart. Combine skill, strategy, and hardware for the best results. And there you have it, the ultimate breakdown of whether devices matter in PUBG and BGMI. If you've tried 120 FPS, let me know in the comments how it's changed your game. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more tips and gameplay strategies. Until next time, keep practicing and keep dominating those battlegrounds.